Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to our Abort Master, Brother Joe Huang, Hualien Dharma team, and brother and sister around the globe to this Saturday Hualien Dharma talk. Okay, so let's start. Today, I'm Sister Mabel. I will be doing the opening today, and I'll be sharing a short acceptance speech from Master Chen. Okay, so to repay the grace of our parents, our teachers, and the Buddha. An exception from Master Chen Yan's speech, closing ceremony of Northern District Route Seeking Training, 1st of December. So, okay, everyone passes down goodness through their families and honors their parents with filial piety. Doing good deeds with one's body is also a way to repay the grace of our parents. It is often said that no matter how many lifetimes we live, we can never fully repay the grace of our parents. Our bodies are given to us by our parents who gave birth to and nurtures us. In every lifetime, we must repay the grace of our parents. We must also repay the grace of our teachers. Master Yin Sun gave me 6 words, earnestly urging me to practice. For Buddhism, for all sentient beings, a lifetime is not sufficient to complete it, so it must be passed down to disciples. We must use our body to benefit the world and to repay the grace of our parents, and wholeheartedly walk the Bodhisattva path for the benefit of all beings, repaying the grace of the Buddha. Accepted by Sister Su Ching. Okay. Okay, so now let's send our sincere prayers into the 10 direction. May the Sahalan be free from disaster and peace will be well in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere piety. Let's put our hands together, our palms together, and sing the prayer song.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. In my heart,
So may all minds be purified, may there be peace in the community, and may there be no disaster in the world. Okay, let us say the prayer for universal love and blessing. Okay, comes together. Together we pray for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our lives a healthy body, an enlightened mind, and total fulfillment in universal love. Now, let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world, every being in the universe. Let us unify love, make this wonderful world even better, and let us immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Okay?
Mr. Maple, we can't hear you.
Pardon?
We couldn't hear you.
You couldn't hear me.
It's okay now.
Okay. So before we hear the wonderful sharing, let us invite our Dharma Master to lead us paying homage to the Triple Gem. Let us pay our respect for this teaching and explanation to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen by making three sincere bow. Please rise and put your palms together. Okay, so first bow, second bow, and third bow. And a bow to our beloved board master who joined us today. Okay, so this is our agenda today. So we have Brother Matthew, Sister Fong, and Brother Teck and Brother Saw Aik. Okay. So, okay, let
Sister
us
Maple.
invite Sister Su Ching for the weekly summary. Sister Su Ching, over to you.
We can't hear Sister Su Ching. Can't hear Sister Su Ching.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
sister.
enough.
There's an echo.
There's an echo. What I can do. Can you hear me? Hear that. Oh dear. Is this better? Oh, still echo.
The echo is coming through, but what happened to your first device that you use?
My laptop is not working. The audio. This is the second time.
You got two devices on. Shall we want to shut one device and use the yeah? Try and see. I can't hear you on this.
The other one is my hard phone. Is this better? Is that cool? Let me see.
Would you like Sister Maple to read out for you instead?
Yeah, I think she better. Let's see, yeah.
Sister Su Ching, you can read it out without the slide.
You can't hear me.
Does Sister Maple have your right arm?
I've just sent it.
You want to set up your right arm and let us run through?
Okay.
Sister Maple, would you like to read that?
Okay, I share for you already, sister. Sister Su Ching?
No, this echo is coming from her device. So would you like to read that, Sister Maple?
Hi, speak.
Go ahead, Sister Maple.
I read out this one for her. Ah.
Yes.
Hey, Sister Mabel, maybe because of time, let me read it out instead. Cảm ơn. Sister Mabel, you can come please read. Cảm ơn. Sister Mabel, you're muted. Hey, Sister So Hui Mei from Singapore, fermented food and its benefit to health. Sister Hui Mei, a dietitian so wise, explores fermentation where ancient art lies. Pickling at acid fermentation lets bacteria create naturally forming acids, preserving food's fate. While fermentation needs no starter, it's true. Sauerkraut, kimchi, thosai, sourdough, to name a few. Preserve excess yields, transforms taste and texture, improve nourishment, bioavailability, and nature's fixture. Fermentation prevents spoilage as antimicrobial metabolites are installed. Anaerobic conditions means pathogens are no more. Lower pH stops microbes like Salmonella smite and instead enhances flavors, aroma, and taste delight. Fermentations boost nutrition in grains, legumes, and greens. Deactivates inhibitors, enhancing proteins means reduces toxins in foods like tempeh, pear, eases digestion with benefits to share. Okay, next. Gut's health thrives, but probiotics plays their part, balancing bacteria, supporting a healthy heart. Prebiotics feeds good bacteria, and with that, they grow. Fermented foods in diets for health, vibrance, glow. That's from Sister Hui Mei. Next, Brother James from Malaysia, Joy from Relief Missions and Lesson Learned. Prior to Tzu Chi, Brother James journeyed to Aceh Shore, learning that only 20% of aid reaches the poor. Admin costs, theft, customs, and logistics took their toll. An NGO built 5,000 homes, a mission he found his role. First in Myanmar's Najis, where Tzu Chi relief missions began. Facing challenges, lesson learned as the journey ran. Stuck in mud, pushing vehicles with all their might, journeys by boat, feeling fortunate each night. Bamboo banks at first seemed strange to distribute, igniting the spirits of giving among new recruits. Farmers shared rice despite their challenging plight. Kindness multiplied, creating a collective light. In 2018, back to Myanmar's aid once again. Floods destroyed grains, field left damage and pain. Tzu Chi's helped revive rice fields, ensuring supply. World's food productions continue, lest the world will cry. Hualien's wrath in Tacloban brought despair. Cash for work brought hope and care. Love transcends border, race, and creed. Acts of kindness, a noble deed indeed. Okay, Ka'an, over to you, Brother Chin. Ka'an for listening, everyone. Ka'an, Sister Su Ching, for the wonderful, amazing summary of last week's session. Ka'an, Sister Mabel.
Good. Welcome to another Saturday sharing session. We have basically two sessions today. One is Brother Matthew, and the other is on his personal medical mission. And Brother Matthew is online at the moment. And then on the second session, we have a session led by our team Martin on the medical mission today. If I may, Brother Matthew, would you like to start your sharing first on your medical mission?
Brother Chin, we will be first. I have just texted Brother Matthew and I've just informed him that we will be sharing first because some of us will need to leave early to work.
I see. Okay. So, all right. All right. We will then start with Sister Fong and the team to begin with. And so it's about the journey and also the trip to Cambodia. Sister Fong doesn't need an introduction. She has been a regular on this platform. Brother Teck is a cardiologist at IHeal, and followed by, but not least, Brother Saw Aik, a retired professor from University Hospital, specializing in pediatric orthopedic surgery. And he also played a pivotal role, indeed, in setting up the Silent Mentor program at UMMC. So the three of us were commissioned in the same year. So that's the affinity they have together. And Sister Fong, a journey of joy and gratitude. The platform is yours.
I can Brother Chin for your introduction. Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So good morning, Sangren, aboard masters, brothers and sisters. Today, the three of us, Brother Teck, Brother Saw Aik, and I will be sharing our experience from the recent outreach in Cambodia. We are from Su Ching, KL, Selangor. We had the privilege of serving in different capacity as part of the GP team. Dr. Wong, a cardiologist, brought his expertise to the team. Prof. Saw Aik, a pediatric orthopedic surgeon, contributed in his unique way. And for my part, I'll be sharing my journey of joy and gratitude as a volunteer in the advanced team, along with the insights I gained while serving as a radiologist. I feel truly blessed to have been part of the advanced team. which made up about 1/3 of the entire entourage. Upon our arrival, we were warmly welcomed by the Su Ching Cambodia team. The advance team dedicated 2 days ahead to prepare for the outreach, making sure everything was in place. During those preparation days, I witnessed the incredible dedication, teamwork, and tireless efforts of Su Ching volunteers. Their commitment laid a strong foundation for the impactful 3-day outreach, which took place from November 1st to 3rd. Cambodia has endured decades of challenges, from wars to natural disasters, leaving many communities in need of support. The World Health Organization has been working alongside the Cambodian government, international partners, and NGOs to improve healthcare access. Su Ching's connection with Cambodia began 30 years ago during flood disaster relief efforts. This bond has since deepened, particularly in addressing the country's limited medical resources, as high costs and limited access often deter villagers in remote areas from seeking treatment. Upon invitation, Su Ching collaborated with the Cambodian Prime Minister Young Doctors Association TIDA to organize a large-scale free clinic in Battambang, a province in northwest Cambodia. Taking the lead this time, Su Ching KL Selangor coordinated the event with TIMA and Su Ching volunteers from Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, and Cambodia coming together to serve underprivileged communities across 9 rural villages in Bawal County. The journey began with a 2-hour flight from KLIA to Phnom Penh, followed by a 5-hour bus ride to Battambang, where we stayed. During our stay, we commuted daily, traveling an hour each way by bus to Bawal Hospital to reach the outreach, the site of the outreach. So the rest of the medical team joined us 2 days later, and the entire entourage was spread across 3 different hotels in Battambang. This is the entrance to the Bawal Hospital, and this is the overall view of Bawal District Hospital, the primary venue for Su Ching's free clinic, where most of the medical and general surgical services were provided. Meanwhile, eye surgeries were conducted at the larger Battambang Provincial Hospital. So these are the services provided. Armed with medical equipment and supplies, the team provided services in internal medicine, Chinese medicine, surgery, gynecology, eye surgery, dentistry, and radiology. Among these, Western medicine, TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine, and dental services were particularly popular. Radiology managed around 20 over cases daily. Over 3 days, nearly 3,500 people received care. And upon reaching the site, this is our first task, setting up the operating theater. So this is the meeting room. Notice this meeting room with tables and chairs in the hospital, guided by Dr. Su, our Malaysian surgeon, and the OT sisters. We transformed a meeting room into a functional operating theater. We began by cleaning every corner, sweeping cobwebs, mopping the floor, wiping walls, and sanitizing the space with Dettol until the space carried the familiar scent of disinfectant. We began this Su Ching, and then Su Ching resourceful volunteers, they are really ingenious, set up this water supply and a temporary sink for the OT. And the atmosphere then was really filled with positivity, teamwork, and a shared determination to ensure everything was perfect for the mission ahead. And this is the transformed operating theater with 3 surgical tables running concurrently. The OT team included surgeons from Malaysia, Taiwan, Singapore, along with OT nurses, dental students, translators, all working together to ensure smooth coordination and patient care. Notice even the sleepers in the operating room were carefully washed and cleaned. And next, we went on to set up the GP station and the O&G rooms. This time, the OT team joined us to help clean and set up the GP station and the O&G room. We swept, wiped, washed the furniture for both doctors and patients. Volunteers borrowed this agricultural tractor to transport desks and chairs from a nearby school to set up the venue to be used by the doctors here. I truly understood Master words then. In helping others, we also benefit ourselves. And this dental clinic was built from scratch. This is the car park. And then this includes setting up water supply, electrical supply, connecting electricity to power a large compressor for the dental equipment, installing water pipes and drainage, and setting up tents and fans and lights. The dental team, I think they was really incredible, meticulous and patient, carefully handling numerous instruments. As I was walking through, I just quickly snapped some pictures. So our Malaysian team, learning from the experienced volunteers from Taiwan, he's 70 over years, and as they work together to assemble all these dental units, this is the dental units that is used to treat patients on the dental chair. They even attempt to repair the malfunction autoclave machine, which is very important to sterilize all the equipments. Despite the challenges, they remain calm and focused, ensuring everything ran smoothly. And then this is what I witnessed from emptiness into wondrous existence on the physical part. What started was as a big empty space here was transformed into various hubs, each offering essential services tailored to the medical needs of the people. And then volunteers work continuously with their blue shirts, turning into white lines of dried sweat as they gave their food. The parking lot in the hospital was converted into the dental area for the free clinic here, and the waiting area for the dental before they see the dentist. 19 dentists work relentlessly, focusing on extractions, cleaning and fillings, while assistants help and wipe down tools. This is in the dental clinic, dental area. So in rural areas where clinics are scarce, villagers often have to travel long distances to access dental care. So this makes the outreach even more impactful. This is a waiting area, the GP waiting area for the patients to see the GP. And that this is a popular station for the TCM. Again, empty space transformed into a fully functional clinic, which include acupuncture services, Tuina and Pakuan, offering relief to stroke patients and villagers who had to endure much hardship, coming in with aches and pains. The Cambodian Chinese translators in volunteer vests, many of whom were retired teachers, played an important role in bridging language gaps. And we were also supported by an amazing TCM, French TCM practitioner, also a physiotherapist. So another behind the scene, the pharmacy team, they play an essential role. Volunteers help to carry all these medical supplies to the pharmacy room, and these are all transported from KL. Additionally, volunteers from Malaysia's culinary team prepared some of our meals, ensuring everyone was well fed during the outreach. And I was deeply touched by the support we received from the Su Ching volunteers. One Su Ching volunteer even said, "We may not know how to treat patients, but we will support you in any way we can, so you can focus on caring for and treating those in need." This selfless giving with such sincerity was truly moving. And the opening ceremony was graced by dignitaries and government officials, including Deputy Governor from Battambang and representatives from Bawal District. Their presence added significance to the event and highlighted the support for this important outreach mission. So these are the GP team, the GPs and many GPs here as well from the 3 countries. And those in West are the dental students. They can speak English, so they help to translate English to Cambodia, Cambodia to English. So they bridge the communication gap between GPs and the patients. Now, these photos were taken with my opposite neighbor, the OT team. So my ultrasound room is just opposite the OT. About 20% of the referrals came from the surgical side, and I was able to receive immediate feedback on some of the cases that were operated on. One notable experience is when I had this opportunity to scan an elderly patient with a rare but benign skin tumor. They call it something that I just learned, pilometricoma. at both hip regions. So the feedback from the surgeon on the diagnosis is a great learning experience during the outreach. Okay, these photos were taken in the ultrasound room where I serve with two amazing assistants, Dr. Song Ming and Dr. Peta. They are medical officers at Bevel Hospital. It was really a great privilege to work with them. And I'm grateful to have met them while exploring the ultrasound machine. They acted as my translator, showing kindness and gentleness to each patient that come along. For every patient who came in, they gathered information about their medical condition, which helped me form a diagnosis. They also assisted in documenting the ultrasound findings while I scanned and explained the results to the patients. And then while I scan. So as I was explaining the findings, they will translate it to the patient. So putting the patient at ease before they left. So this photo was taken at Dr. Feta's request to express our gratitude to the ultrasound machine, which has been a vital tool for helping the people of Cambodia. It's been essential in confirming diagnosis, determining whether surgery is needed, can be done in the setting there with local anesthesia and planning operations. I remember there was a patient who came in with a lump in the breast. If it's something benign, it can be operated then and then. But because as I scanned it, it looks like a cancer of the breast, and that has to be referred to other bigger hospital. And I'm also grateful for the chance to guide the medical officers. When possible, I allow them to scan under my guidance. Despite their busy schedules, they willingly take turn to come in daily. Even after being on call or post-call, they stay until the last day and learn to use the machine to scan different parts, the abdomen, the breast, the thyroid, the lumps and bumps, and then with a growing desire to learn even more techniques to help future patients. I made an effort to connect with the patients by learning to greet them in their language. Hello in Cambodia is Chomripso, and some of the interesting cases we saw TB lymphadenitis in the neck, armpit, the perianal fistula, and just to name a few. So this photo was taken during our lunch break. I had the opportunity to introduce Su Ching Foundation. They have not known of Su Ching Foundation. They thought we are from the Christian organization, and mentioning to them about the charity and medical missions to the doctors as well. It was a truly wonderful to work with two brilliant young doctors who were eager learners, always asking intelligent and practical questions related to their daily work. I was deeply touched to receive an appreciation letter from Dr. Peta, expressing his gratitude for the Su Ching outreach and the impact it had on many patients, the people of Cambodia. And he felt honored to have assisted me and learned a great deal from the scanning techniques, some of which he had never known before. After returning, I sent them some reading materials to help them put into practice. And this is Dr. Werner, guiding them on some ways of managing certain conditions, medical conditions. And for this outreach, 356 volunteers from 4 countries came together to make this a success. Each one of us, no matter our role, is like a nut or bolt, small but essential to complete a mission. No effort is too small to make a difference. And together we create something far greater than the sum of our parts. We can also be likened to fireflies. Individually, a firefly's light may seem modest, but when come together, they illuminate the darkness. In the same way, our collective efforts, working harmoniously and courteously, brought light to the hearts of the people, the Cambodian people. It is through this unity and shared purpose that we are able to make a meaningful impact. Notice these are the volunteers according to the countries. Sorry, these are all in Mandarin. So in Cambodia itself, they have 140 volunteers, 90 of which are translators from many from the universities in Phnom Penh, dental and medical students. Malaysia has got 165 volunteers, Singapore 22, Taiwan 31, make up 356. And the medical team, this many, there are many volunteers who supported us throughout. So I'm coming to the end. Truly grateful for this opportunity to serve with gratitude, respect, and love. Through this experience, I gain a deeper understanding on the 3 fears of emptiness that Master has been guiding us. Serving without expecting anything in return brought me this profound sense of joy that lingers on. And I'm thankful for the guidance of our Master and the kindness of all beings. This is Okun. Okun is a Cambodian word that we use often there. Thank you to the people that this is what we use. So Kan Ân, that's all for my sharing. Kan Ân. Oh, back to you, Brother Chin.
The next share we have is Brother Teck Wee. And the Dharma lessons. We're looking forward to this.
Thank you, Brother Chin. Let me share my slide. Okay, good morning, brothers and sisters and Abbot Masters. So I'm going to talk about the Dharma lessons at Cambodia. So joining Su Ching is a part of my spiritual practice, and a lot of times we work unconsciously or we relate to others unconsciously. But sometimes there are things that will have a strong imprint in our life, in our mind. And usually the things that have strong imprint in our mind is the negative things. So when I was in Cambodia, I met 2 teachers who are about 70s or 80s. They are the survivors of the Cambodian killing fields. So I recorded my short interview with them. And I thought that it was quite interesting because one of the elderly lady, I think she has about 4 children, and all of them died during the chaos that happened. And the reason why they died is because of poverty and also lack of food. But she remained to be cheerful and happy. So he said in Cantonese, she is the Sei Jing Zhong, so she's the leftover. Another sister who was there with her was also in a very cheerful demeanor, and I asked her whether she has married. She said she has. She chose not to be married because of the suffering that she saw during the war, the Civil War. So I uploaded this posting, and after a few days, I was called by the Lao Da, or the big brother. He said, "You have not asked permission for the sharing. You should not share into the social media." So this, and I agreed and also removed the sharing. And after a few days, I wrote back to him. I said, if the reason for not sharing is because of permission from the people that we portray in our social media, then the rule must be applied to all the sharing by Tzu Chi, because you have to get permission from them. I think in retrospect, it's a attachment from my side, because this kind of sharing may be harmful to the 2 elderly teacher, even though they say they are not worried, but I think because they also comment on the suffering that they had when they were younger. So we have to be mindful of our action and also our speech. So similarly to Sister Su Ching just now, so a lot of time we remember those things that is not moving well, or the negative things. So that's the nature of our mind. So so today I want to thank Sister Fong for showing most of the the things that we do in Cambodia, but my sharing is more of the lessons that I learned there. So not much of the photos and all that, being mindful of the sharing of their photos. So I've been in Tzu Chi for last few years, and because of my exposure to other tradition in Buddhism, I always have doubt whether I'm in the right path or not. And for last 1 or 2 years, I find that this Tzu Chi path is a right path. The reason is because of our daily practice and also our contact with others in the community. And we also must be guided by the Kalama Sutta. So sometimes we are concerned whether this is a proper practice or not. So Buddha has come up with this sutta where he says that whatever that you have learned, do not go by who has taught you and the dogma and also the doctrines, because sometimes we are very confused whether we are in the right tradition or right practice. So there's a lot of words here, so you can read on your own and you can Google it. So it says here, if you find that whatever things have been taught and propounded, if it's unskillful, then you should abandon them. If whatever that has been practiced and taught is skillful, great proficiency in living leads to benefit and happiness, then we are on the right path. So we should not be fixed in our thinking. We have to always refer back to the Dharma teaching, and if it's the true teaching, it should be consistent with what Buddha had taught. So these are some of the references. Buddha has said that this is during his Mahaparinirvana. The teaching should be checked against the Dharma and the Vinaya to ensure it aligns with the core principles. So when I was there, I find that many of these patients that I saw have great suffering from the clothes that they wear, their shoes, the slippers that they wear, and their poor hygiene. And sometimes I was wondering whether the cause of their suffering. And some of these people who when you look at them, it seems like they are in deep suffering, but they have a smile on their face. So sometimes we have to be aware that the suffering that they have is a physical suffering, but mentally and spiritually they are stronger than us. So this is some of the things that I was thinking. Why are these people who are equal in terms of from the higher power? I mean, all the sentient beings should be equal, but why are some people born in this poor condition? The poverty or the physical illnesses, and also other challenges in their life. So in some of the survey that I've done, these are the things that is important for most people. And the reason for some of this suffering of this patient that I saw, one of them is health. We detected many patients with serious health condition. When they came, they were sitting there comfortably, but their vital signs means that the measurements of their blood pressure and pulse is very abnormal. So some of them sitting there with a pulse of 130 and 140. A normal pulse is 60 to 70. So they have been in this condition for a long time, and has never been treated, and they can still smile with this physical suffering that they have. And many of these people also are poor. Because of their poverty, they were not able to access to the healthcare that they need. And then other things that is important is a social connection. So there's a question that I was asking myself because this is the first time I joined an international outreach. I said, what can we do in the 5 to 10 minutes consultation, and can we alleviate their physical and also medical suffering? So in Cambodia, we have a system that will allow us to identify some of these patients who have a serious problem, and we are supposed to write a referral letter to a tertiary hospital for this patient. And in my case, I detected a few patients with serious valve problem that needs to be operated. So I wrote the referral letter, and hopefully this patient referred to the right hospital for the eventual treatment to solve their problem. So my concern is that we come here as like a touch and go, you just come in and then like a helicopter come here and just tell them that you have this problem and give them medication that only lasts for 1 week or 2 weeks. It's not going to change much. It's like a show. But Dr. Eddie, who was in the same team as me, told us that this is we are not just relieving their suffering. What we are doing is the social connection part. What we do is that we have to show compassion and we treat them in respect so that they have awareness that there are still people in the world that care for them. And even though I'm so dirty and so poor, there are these doctors who respect us. So we have to carry this approach when we see our patients. And this previous the pillars, we have to have a balance of all the health, money, social connection. And the reason why most of these people with this limitation of health and money can still smile, I think it's because of their social connection, their sense of community and connection with others in their kampong. So yeah, some of us who went there, I want you to think of this, or for those who didn't go to Cambodia or in your daily lives, you contemplate and list your current mental affliction. So these are the things that will affect our mind. So majority of us will think of the physical problem, but mental problem, mental illness is a bigger issue in our modern life. So anger, hatred, fear, and anxiety, sadness, or grief for someone passing away or loss of something, loneliness and isolation, hopelessness and despair. So Su Chi path allow us to see and also practice and improve on our mental affliction. So these are some of the things that have been taught by Buddha. He said the mind is the forerunner of all our phenomena. So the mind can affect our behavior, our mood, and our body. So if we are aware that our mind is a forerunner, then we have to make the right choice. So if your mind has the unwholesome intention, it can lead to unwholesome outcome. And then we make a choice with our action, body action, and our speech. The right choice will lead to a right outcome. And a lot of times we are not aware that when we are in trouble, we have no one to turn to because there's no God and there's no strong spiritual person that you are leading you. So I remind you about the 3 refuge that when you are in trouble, you depend on this. So the Buddha is the psychiatrist for our mind. and Dharma is a medicine, and the Sangha is a nurse that will administer this Dharma for us. And then these are the key concept that I've been telling my friends and families. You are the source of your own happiness, and also you are also the source of your own suffering. And then the solution for all human interaction problems and also suffering is compassion. So this is what is consistent in Su Chi's path and the tradition that we are doing. So a lot of times we think that whatever we do, we follow the principle of compassion, but at the same time, we must also combine with wisdom. So similarly to the charity done by Su Chi, some of the charity recipient has been assessed thoroughly, and also we give them resources that is just enough for them to survive and also work. So we don't make them dependent on Su Chi's financial help. So that is wisdom. So going to Cambodia, we have the compassion, spending our own time and money to go there, and we may feel superior, but at the same time, we must use the wisdom of humility, and also have the goal of touching them from the spiritual point of view. So this is the simile is like the monkey who are given the banana or money in front of them. So without the wisdom of using the money, they will choose the banana. They didn't know that the money can buy more bananas. So as a spiritual practitioner, we must use wisdom as a foundation for our compassion. So just like children, if they give them a choice of playing games or study, they will choose to play games. So, okay, so I will quickly talk about some of these things that is explaining some of the suffering of these people that we meet. And this is the view representation in the Tibetan teaching. And the core of this teaching is this, the three animals, the pig, the rooster, and the snake. So, and then this is the unwholesome karma of the black side. The unwholesome karma will lead to negative rebirth, and the wholesome karma will lead to better rebirth. And so what is the core? The core is this picture here. So the first circle is the three ignorance. What is the ignorance? Ignorance of impermanence, dukkha, the suffering, and also non-self. So, and this ignorance, the foundation of ignorance will lead to aversion and also attachment. So our daily practice, we have to counter this poison of greed with generosity, so helping others. Hatred is compassion, and the wisdom of things that are not permanent, the wrong view and the false perception and all that. So you can read on your own. So these are some of the things that we must practice daily. We have to be kind. We have to have humility and loving kindness, generosity, and wisdom. So I will just let you read on your own. And we also go back to the core teaching of Buddha, where the Four Noble Truths. So without suffering, we will not learn the truth. And going to this mission will allow us to look at the suffering. And even though we are not the one with the suffering, but it will trigger us to think that we must do something so that we will not be afflicted by all this suffering. So the suffering has a solution. So the Four Noble Truth, suffering is caused by our attachment, and solution is the Eightfold Noble Path. So what is the source of our attachment? What are we attached to? Because suffering is caused by attachment. And a lot of times, we think that our suffering is because of attachment to our body, but the bigger problem is the attachment to our mental formation. So we may be attached to our senses, pleasure, unpleasant, or neutral, or perception. So if you look at something, you said it look like a rose, but another guy will argue and say, this is not a rose, this is the jasmine rose, So this difference in perception will cause a big argument. But the bigger one is the mental formation. So when we go to this big outreach, there are so many people who are involved, so many volunteers and so many helpers there, and all of us will have different opinions of how the things are done. And if we are so attached to a certain views or preference, sometimes it can create unhappiness and also arguments. So, and this is one of the cause of our suffering because of our attachment to all these concepts. So this is the biggest problem. Not so much our attachment to our body when we are still healthy. It's so much more of the mental formation. So I think the solution for all our suffering first is the sila, samadhi, and the groupings of ethics, meditation, or wisdom. And of all these 8 noble paths, the most important is the right view or right understanding. So with this right view and right understanding, the rest will follow. Because with the right view and understanding, then we have a right intention. With the right intention, then we will speak ethically and speaking not respecting others, speaking the truth, promoting peace and harmony, and the right livelihood. So not doing things that kill other sentient beings, and meditation, right mindfulness. So I urge all of you on this spiritual path to be mindful at all times of our emotions, our speech, and our actions, and the right effort. So cultivating positive states of mind, right concentration. So the foundation is the right understanding. And all these roots of suffering, greed, hatred, delusion will lead us to the wholesome karma and unwholesome karma. So we must focus on the wholesome portion, which is generosity, loving kindness, and wisdom, and led by compassion, charity, patience, and all that. So this will result in positive result as happiness, feeling at peace, and rebirth in a favorable realms, and leads to mental purification, clarity, and contentment. And in my original slide, when I said that I have doubt in some of this Buddhist tradition, but eventually I think Su Ching is the right path, because most of the activities and teachings want us to have wholesome karma. So we don't aim for enlightenment, but doing wholesome karma will allow us to have more favorable rebirth that allow us to do more of these things. So some of these recipients in Cambodia or in Malaysia, their environment and their condition is so unfavorable. No, they don't have the physical health, and they don't have the financial ability. It's very difficult for them to practice a spiritual path. So for all of us here in this session today, you are very lucky because you have the ability to spend your time. You have the money to buy this computer or phone to watch this. And also you have the physical health to understand what I'm saying and also to concentrate on what I'm talking. So you must use this to the most optimum way to benefit others. So just to remind you, if you are born in the higher level, the human world, heaven, and it will be easier for you. Even in the human world, we have people who are more favorable and less. So, so all of you here who have a favorable birth or condition, you must not waste it by doing things that are not conducive and unwholesome. So I want you to self-check whether your practice free you from all this, free you from clinging to sensory physical pleasure like sight, sounds, taste, and tactile sensation, leading to more craving and suffering due to their impermanence. And does your practice free you for existential attachment, the clinging to the self-perception, that you are a superior doctor, you are a cardiologist, or you are a professor, Saw Aik, or orthopedic, and the views and the world beliefs and the life relatives and the fixed habits, fear of death or unknown. If you have no attachment to all this, then you are near to the liberation. And both hinder enlightenment, binding individual to cycle of birth and rebirth, and these mental tendencies obstruct the path to enlightenment. So this is the power of the Tzu machinery. So Sister Wai Fong talked about the fireflies, the clip. Now I talk about the bees. You see, the bees, to collect, their lifespan is about 25 days, but they can collect so much pollen, the honey, and come up with these beehives. So Tzu is the exemplary example of the bees. With one person's strength, we cannot do much. But with all of us working in harmony, understanding the principle and the teachings, we are able to execute and allow us to perform a task that is not possible in the normal way. Okay, so this is just a summary of the things that, so we must speak truthfully, and also the speech must be beneficial, non-harmful, speak with kindness and gentleness, and speak in the timeliness. As doctors, if a patient needs to do something and take the right medicine, we must tell them in the right time. By the time they have a complication, it's too late. Avoiding gossip and idle chatter, refraining from harsh speech, and abstaining from divisive speech. So, yeah, the right action, abstaining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, acting with honesty and integrity, promoting non-harm and peace, and respecting others' boundaries. So, yeah, recognizing and honoring their personal, social, and cultural boundaries, supporting others' well-beings. Then these are right thought. So these are the speech, action, and also thought is part of the Eight Noble Path. So letting go, goodwill, not harming. Okay, all this you can read on your own. And then I will end with one or two slides here. So when is the best time to cultivate your spiritual practice? So the best time is now. So at any moment. And the second question is who is the most important person? So the most important person to me now is all of you here sitting in front of this computer. And if you are alone, the most important person is yourself. Some people cannot live alone. They feel that they've done so much of negative things. They feel very unhappy with themselves. So you have to take care of yourself. And what is the most important thing to do is a thing that you are doing now. So for me, I'm giving a talk now, and I only got to know that my talk is today. I thought that it was next week. So Sister Wai Fong told me that yesterday. He said your talk is tomorrow. It's about 10 o'clock. So I have to quickly come up with these slides. And then this is some of the principles that Buddha had taught. When you have faced with problem, you must not run from it, because whatever problem that you have is something for you to learn. It's a spiritual challenge. It's a suffering for you to learn. If you go to the heaven realms, it's a realm of sensual pleasure. There's no suffering there. It's all about senses, very happy. Nothing to trigger you to learn. So it's good that you are here to suffer, because you can learn something, so advance your spiritual path. So you must face it, don't run from it. The second step is to accept that you have this challenge. And then the next thing is that you try to change whatever things that is causing your suffering. If you can't change it because of your limited resources, then you have to accept and leave it. So let the things continue. That's part of your karmic suffering that you have to accept. Okay, this is my last slide. So my interpretation of spiritual freedom, moral conduct, samadhi, and so on. So the moral conduct is we have to try to keep our 5 to 10 precepts, the 4 internal practice, the 4 external practice, and then many of the Jing's aphorism are very practical teaching. That is not what Buddha has said, but as I said, we refer back to what Buddha had taught. If it's consistent with the Dharma, then it's something good. So we should not be too dogmatic and say that this is not what Buddha taught and it's not true. So as long as follow the principle of compassion and understand the principle of suffering, impermanence, and also non-self, is good teaching. And then we always must have good affinities. Good affinities with other people, the social interaction with others is the cause of majority of our suffering. The 4 spiritual soup, basis, and these are the moral conduct that we can practice in this humanistic Buddhism, which is what Su Ching is practicing. And further on, with this foundation of Sila, then we are more at peace. When we are more peaceful, then we can practice our concentration and also contemplation. Without this, very difficult to achieve concentration and focus. Okay, with that, I thank you for your time and also attention. Thank you, Sister Wai Fong, for inviting me.
Right, next we have Brother Saw Aik, who's gonna share with us of knowing what to give. And bearing in mind that Brother Saw Aik played a pivotal role in setting up the Silent Mentor program.
Thank you, Brother Chin. Let me set up the presentation. Okay. Very good morning to all the brothers and sisters. So I'll try to cover this knowing what to give by sharing with you how I get to know Tzu Chi and also my voluntary activities in Cambodia over the last 2 decades. Now, I first heard about Tzu Chi exactly 20 years ago. During this time, this year, orthopedic community created a voluntary group, and we were looking for activities that we can participate in. And as you know, 24th of December this year, we have a great tsunami. So at the early stage, we were told that the resources required by Tzu Chi, there is a list of people, specialists that they need, and it did not include orthopedic surgeon. So with that, we decided to focus our activities in Aceh, Indonesia. We are not involved in the early stage, but only and try to get resources to help the local surgeons. So we managed to get a few orthopedic communities from Japan, Philippines, and also China. They donated a lot of items, and we used a military base in Malaysia to transfer the objects to Aceh because it's closer than Jakarta. So at the later stage, we managed to form groups to go over there. And then among the institution that we can help, I come to this Danish emergency mobile hospital. So this hospital, they're able to do orthopedic surgeries. But what I learned from them is they were at that time busy removal implants because most of the implants putting in during emergency state were infected. So apparently, orthopedic procedures where we put in internal fixation and implants are not suitable to be done under emergency situation like this, especially tsunami. So now we understand why the Reiki group from Tzu Chi decided that orthopedic surgeon is not in the group. So planning the resources and get suitable people to go to help in the suitable environment is very important. So we learn this firsthand. So subsequently, most of volunteers we go over there is to serve like general practitioner, like at the bottom there, the two orthopedic surgeons, they actually provide general practice service, and they are now very senior orthopedic surgeons in the country, and I'm sure the experience they learn from there will be helpful in their professional development. Then on the following year, with that good impression I had on Tzu Chi in their resources, they're managing their resources, we heard about a Batam Island charity clinic. So without wasting time, we registered for that. I and a few orthopedic surgeons joined this project, and then it is basically a charity clinic, although there were some basic simple procedures that we involve in at that time as a medical officer. So we just do removal of lumps and bumps under local anesthesia. Although this Batam Island is quite close to Singapore, there were a few operations done under general anesthesia because we have a few anesthetists over there, but mainly those are basically health screening for the local doctors. Now, talking about Cambodia, I first heard about Cambodia through this Professor Subir Kamgupta. When I joined the universities as a medical officer at the end of the last century, he made a visit. I remember he made a visit to Cambodia for about 1.5 months to serve as a voluntary surgeon. There is a new charity hospital in the town of Siem Reap, but when he came back, he just told us some stories about it. There were no contact and he don't have any photographs. It was a single-story hospital built in the center of the town. So about many years later, I have a chance to visit Siem Reap as a tourist. So I thought maybe you should try to look for this hospital and see what I can do. Now, the only information we have, it is a single-story charity hospital for children. So I found out there are two charity hospitals there, and then one of them is a single-story building. So I look for the local surgeons and then volunteer to see, ask them whether is there anything that can help. So this is a hospital that fit the description. So I managed to, there are 4 surgeons and they do all the surgical work. I get to know the senior senior general surgeon over there, and then I start to travel a few times a year to the Siem Reap town. And this is the picture taken, and you probably are familiar with the background. This is Sunway Pyramid, yeah, because after a few years, whenever we have orthopedic or we have any medical conferences there, we invited them to come over, sponsored for their trip, so that they can learn and they can treat their patients better. Now, what I do there in the beginning stage is basically to help in the clinics. This is multidisciplinary clinics. To my right is a rehab nurse from United Kingdom, and then opposite the table is a pediatrician probably from Holland. The 2 gentlemen besides me, they are the general surgeons, and the one standing is wife of one of the surgeons who is an admin staff of the hospital. So from the services there, I noticed that they only have general surgeons. They have to do appendectomy, they have to treat trauma patients, they even have to do craniotomy whenever necessary. They cannot specialize because there are very limited resources. They don't have enough specialists for the whole country. And the patients there usually comes very late. Very often, because of poverty, they go to see traditional treatment. By the time children came with a fracture, the fracture already malunited. And moreover, they cannot afford expensive implants. Then during my various visits over there, I get to know a few visiting surgeons from other countries. Dr. Ivata is a cranio-maxillofacial surgeon, and the last time I met him is this year. So he came with a wife and also the son. Yeah. And on the right side is Dr. Richard, who is the anesthetist. There's a organization for international anesthetists. He traveled many places, and usually once a year, sometimes twice, he will come to Angkor Hospital for Children. And this time he came with a nurse who is a volunteer nurse who is from Japan. Now, most of these traveling surgeons from far, when they come, they will spend about 1 month, sometimes 2, because of this of traveling. Yeah. So for those who are from nearby, like in Malaysia, so my arrangement is to go there only for 1 week, but I go there 2 or 3 times a year. So I feel that I can help them, and also with a WhatsApp, I also can give them some advice on the radiograph that they sent to me. So the arrangement is slightly different based on the distance that you need to travel to go over there. Now, after a few years doing this visitings, then I thought maybe it is good to try to get others to be involved as well. So on and off, I did get a few surgeons and also normal doctors to go there to organize courses. This is just one of them. 2019, a basic workshop for external fixator. So there were about 9 orthopedic surgeons who went over there, and we opened this. We do conduct a workshop in Angkor Hospital for Children, but we invite surgeons from other hospitals to participate in. As I said, there were 2 charity hospitals for children and 1 provincial hospital. So there is about 10 or now a bit more surgeons in the Siem Reap city alone. This is just done recently, 2024 in July. So we bring a group of pediatric orthopedic surgeons to go over there. And this time we do a basic deformity course for the surgeons. So the one on the right side is a picture of the trainers that go over there. And then this picture shows the whole group, trainers plus participants. As you can see, the number of participants probably is the same as the number of the surgeons. It doesn't matter because we are not looking at quantity. Even we are able to train only 1 surgeon to do different work, to do better work, it will worth it because he will be able to serve many patients and subsequently influence his juniors to start doing the same, improve their facilities. On the right-hand side, this is Dr. Peter Lee, who is a very senior pediatric orthopedic surgeon from Singapore. He heard that we are going, so he said he wanted to come along. So he joined us. I think in future, he'll be able to bring Singapore surgeons to join us in courses like this. Now, in addition to this, we also I come across this Safe Haven Medical Relief Society. So they are a group of rehab doctors. Now, the society was formed by a group of volunteer surgeons from US and also Europe. They come to help different hospitals in Cambodia for many years, and then they decided trying to help poor or handicapped patients who cannot come to the hospital. So this group of staff, every day there are about 7 teams to go to the remote part of the country and try to visit these children who are handicapped or who have no parents, orphans, who cannot travel to hospital on their own. So I brought 3 other doctors and we joined 2 of the groups. Now these 2 groups we go with a car, but the other teams, they will probably go with a motorcycle. Then every day there'll be 7 groups going out to the community and they make the visit about once every month. So they can serve many people, many children, even in the remote area of the country. This is a model that is very interesting because nobody is left out. This is an example. This is a house of a farmer, husband and wife, 2 kids, and one of them severe cerebral palsy. So they cannot, whenever they have to go, they have a motorcycle and the whole family have to go and nobody left to take care of the house. So they are difficult for them to go to the hospital, which is about 1.5 hours traveling away. Now, this is in the village where there are 3 families with children that require treatment. So they come into this, they call like a wakaf. It's a public place, yeah, empty space. So they come over here and the team will see them in this under this one roof. And this is just some of the things that they created. A chair for handicapped child with a spine instability. The carpenter make this and they just bring along for these kids to use. Now, coming to another method of doing voluntary work is going as a team. My first involvement is with the city in Batam Island many years ago, about 20 years ago, and then this is my second trip to Raval Hospital. This time, I'm involved not as a surgical doctor, but I'm involved in the general practitioner team. Yeah, so the picture shows our team, and then on the top there, these are the people that are actually waiting to be treated, registered. Now, just note the front row. There's a group of people who are in the brown uniform. These are our translators. As I think mentioned earlier, they are mainly secondary school children, and also some of them are medical students and dental students. Now, I just want to show this photograph again, and I'm sure you can recognize that city commissioner are in blue shirt, and then a white shirt are basically TIMA members, and those at the back are volunteers from Malaysia and also from Cambodia. But just look at the one on the left-hand side, the one with the arrow. Now, these are the 99 translators. Yeah, I was told that most of them are secondary school students, although some of them are medical students and also some are dental students. I feel for this trip, the biggest impact that we created are to this group of translators. Yeah, so although many patients benefited from this, they get medicine, they got consultation and things like that. But for long-term impact, the students, the translators are the one that learned the most. To have an opportunity to closely associated or listen, looking at us, providing advice, examination, and interact with the patient, I believe these are the things that they can learn in, and it will change their future development and learning. If, for example, in the secondary school or early medical training, I have a chance to meet these international, how do you call that, specialists and doing their work, I have a chance to be exposed to them. I think my career path, maybe they may be a bit different. Maybe I will involve in this voluntary work earlier, not until after I start retiring and to become active. So I feel that they are the one that we should focus on to change for the long term, the level of medical facilities in the area. Now, I have to say that not all the translators are young. We also have a group of senior translators over here. Like you can see in the spectrum, there's a spectrum of translators, but they are basically focused with a traditional Chinese medical group. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. Now, I feel that we should try to provide effective medical and health services. So to do that, we must know what is needed in the community rather than just go and give whatever you have. And this is especially true during emergency medical relief, yeah, when the basic facilities is not available. So like Tsuti, when they go to Sri Lanka at that time, they have a list of people that is needed. Then later we noted it is important because if we have many orthopedic surgeons go over there and do a lot of surgeries, putting it in plant, then it will end up with actually bad results and bad outcomes. Now, to target short-term problems, it is actually easier, whether it's money, food, or medicine. Yeah, we can bring over, we can deliver. However, to solve a long-term problem like medical level of medical services, which is very poor, we have to think further. And always the answer lies in education. And this, we have to start by educating or influencing the young people when they are in school still about medical service and hope to change their what I call training patterns. Now, before we embark on any voluntary or charity activities, we must know what they need before we bring and come along to show what we can gift. Yeah. With that, I think I will end the presentation. Thank you very much of giving this opportunity for me to share my limited experience.
Thank you so much, Brother Saw Aik, for this, and thank you for all from the team that went to Cambodia. It's been great insights that were shared with us this morning. So for a Sister White Fong, the sharing the work of goodness, as always, she's like an angel to all of us actually when whoever we encounter with. Brother Wee Tag, shared with us the Dharma and your insights on that. And I like the part where you say that the Buddha was a psychiatrist and Dharma the medicine and the Sangha the nurse. And Brother Saw Aik, your journey actually have taken you back all the way back to 2004 with the inspiration from the tsunami in Sri Lanka. And obviously all the various medical missions that you've been through. And you shared with us how you have worked together in a team to help so many people there. I like the part where you mentioned that you become active after you retire. It's an excellent phase, active and retirement. It's a bit of paradox, but very profound in meaning. And so much to all three of you shared with us your medical journey in Cambodia. So, so I know you're all rushing off, but before you do that, can we open all our videos and we take a photo before we call up Brother Matthew?
Yeah. So we all on the video and I shall take photos of all. I just
Yes.
noticed Dr. Song Ming from Cambodia who was with me is online as well. Dr. Song Ming. Dr. Song Ming, would you like to open up the video and we capture a picture? Perhaps not. Condition is not right. So shall we take a picture? 1, 2, go. That's
Excellent.
it.
Thank you so much.
All
Right, we continue with the medical journey now to pass on to Brother Matthew. Brother Matthew, apologies for keeping you waiting on your personal medical mission, and here you go. The floor is yours.
Something, could you unmute? Could you please mute yourself? Okay, thank you.
All right, Brother Chin for having me here, and must thanks Sister Su Ching for very persistent to invite me to come to share my medical journey. Basically, I'm actually a lot of people thought that I'm actually a medical profession, but actually I'm not. And recently, when I brought my father to PPUM for a follow-up. The doctor also asked me, do I work in PPUM? I'm not sure whether I have a look like a doctor, but I'm very grateful for that comment. And later I'll share more on that. Basically, I started my medical journey in Pudu Clinic. I'm not using the right picture because it's Pudu Clinic, but it's similar because Sister Angie is there. In 2006, when Sister Michelle invited me to come to go to Klang for the free clinic, I say, sure, why not? I pick her up from Kelana Jaya, and then we went from Kelana Jaya, travel almost 45 minutes to 1 hour to Klang because that clinic is located in Sentosa, which is an area I have never been before. And because of Tzu Chi, I have an opportunity to go there to serve. Then I realized that actually the clinic is located below some shop lots, and notice some of the shop lots is actually not occupied. And I came to realize that actually Sentosa is one of the more notorious area in Klang itself. Then I was asking why that clinic was being set there. and because it was donated by one of the entrepreneur. And the reason it was set there, I find that Su Ching affinity is always very unique. They always set in a place where it needed the most, and that place happened to be needed the most and need to be purified. And since then, when I first joined, so Sister Michelle was asking different department, see which department needed the volunteer to help, and me being a fresh volunteer going there for the first time, and they said, oh, our dental need help. So I was being pushed to a dental room. I was actually very scared of blood. I have a bit of phobia of blood itself. I cannot stand it. But since the thing come, I just go in. I remember Sister Sokun, first time who's a senior in charge in the dental clinic in Klang, said, Brother Matthew, just stand aside and observe only. Don't touch anything, right? Because he said it's very dangerous. And then slowly she say, okay, in charge of washing, right? And I didn't know that actually washing is one of the most critical and most not easy task, because you can get poked anytime and there's a lot of blood stain there. So I was in charge of washing, and she keep reminding me to be very clean and have to sterilize everything. There's processes to make sure that it's put in sterilized water, cold sterilization first before we can actually do the autoclave after each patient. And each patient we need to wipe the chair and table with the alcohol swipe itself. That's when I started my journey. And ever since then, I somehow got hooked to the Klang clinic. And even though I'm not on duty, I just drive 45 minutes, 1 hour to Klang on the Sunday, and just to see how I can serve. So I've been assigned to different areas, sometimes caring, which I'm not very good at because I don't know what to talk to the patient about. And then sometimes it's a GP, right, which is just stand there and observe what the doctor need help. And sometimes it's pharmacist, which is very challenging because of all the different medicine name and what's the prescription. And I find that the challenging part is to read the doctor's handwriting, which is not easy, right? But managed to go back and forth and ask the doctor, right? The following year, actually, I managed to have an opportunity to go to Batam Island, which is an island off Singapore, between Indonesia and Singapore. It's actually very near Singapore, but we have to go through JB to take a boat, go around the Singapore near the Changi airport there in order to go to Batam Island, right? So that we don't have to go through the custom twice itself. And it was quite an interesting journey because once we reach Batam Island, this is my first time participated in international medical outreach. I was assigned to dental again because of my involvement in dental. And I didn't know in just 3 days, we served more than 1,000 patients with more than 20 dentists. That was a very fast learning for me because every patient come, I have to clean and sterilize. And then I have to learn how to use a different instrument, get the correct instruments. And I remember there was one time that gauze, which is used to stop bleeding on the teeth after extraction, it dropped on the floor and I just picked it up. Then the dentist just looked at me, and then I realized I did something wrong. Right, I cannot pick up a gauze that is already dropped on the floor. That means it's not sterile anymore and cannot be put in the patient's mouth. So I have to throw the whole thing away. And from there, I learned how to make sure that after each dentist they have operated on the patient, we need to keep the chair and instruments all sterilized properly, because sometimes the patient may not speak properly. Some of the blood stain may go onto the floor or the chair itself. But what touched me on the picture, this is a Tima doctor from Singapore, is Dr. Ong, right? That this lady who came for our outreach, she said she want to do, because there we only provide either extraction or filling. You cannot provide both because you take up, there are so many patients and you take out a lot of time. So this lady said she want extraction and filling. And Dr. Ong was jokingly say, yes, you can, but you have to bring me coconut water, right? And after the treatment is done, which take more than 1 hour because you are doing both filling and extraction together. So it helps her to relieve her pain. And I didn't know that later she come back with this about 9 or 10 coconut water coconuts itself. And I couldn't believe that, I thought it was a joke that Dr. Ong made. And Dr. Ong said, no, I'm very serious. I want the coconut water. So she brought a coconut from her with her husband and offered to us. And I can see that how grateful the patient is towards the help that we have rendered. And because she cannot find Dr. Ong, so she noticed me. And because I'm one of the tallest guy in the team itself, so she asked me to offer this coconut water. So I quickly go and ask Dr. Wong to come out to greet this lady. So Dr. Wong was very happy. And I can tell you the coconut water until today, even though it's already 17 years ago, I can still taste the sweetness of the coconut water. That shows that when the patient is actually very grateful, the power of influence can extend to a lot of people, right? And in 2007, end of 2007, I have a chance to go to Sri Lanka, right, where we actually do the handover. And there I learned how to use the photography from the 3-in-1 because that become one of the vital skill that to take good photograph. And we have to cook our own meals, right? This is the house that we visit for the Sri Lanka home visit. I mean, you can see that it's a brick house itself. From outside, it looks so grand, but inside it's actually very pitch dark because they don't have natural sunlight. And this lady was explaining that how her family members was actually down with kidney disease and passed away. And she was actually very grateful for Tzu Chi to remind her, pass her the bamboo bank and to remind her to cultivate kindness and compassion. Right. And before the school opened, we offer this Dr. Ong again. We actually do a free clinic and in Sri Lanka for the nearby villages, Saw Aik villages in Hapantota, which actually was built after the tsunami 2004 itself. And this is the first time I went to Sri Lanka and first time going to Hapantota, which is a remote town that not many people know of. And some of the volunteers are very cute. To calm the patient, they use a glove and just, blow it up like a balloon and then just draw, and it looks like very cute balloons for the children to come appease the children itself. And in 2008, I have a chance to go to Myanmar because of the typhoon hit Myanmar. This, what you see in the picture, is actually a house that normally stay below is actually made from bamboo, right? And where they stay is actually inside here. This is their living hall, their sleeping area, and also where they dine. And they have a very simple kitchen, and every place is, you see that if it rain, basically there's nowhere to hide from the rain because everywhere is leaking. So when I went there, I find that we are indeed very blessed in Malaysia that we have a roof over our head, we have a car that we can drive, and this is indeed a blessing compared. But yet the people there are so happy to see us. Some of them, they came to our camp. It's actually very malnourished. This baby very malnourished. Even Dr. Leong that time went to extract a bit of blood to test his condition. It is so difficult to extract the blood itself, right? And they were either you may see them very skinny, but a lot of them have hypertension because they don't have much. As you can see from their living condition, right? There's not much they can eat. There's no fridge they can keep their food. So what they eat, what they cook, they may keep for a few days, especially the rice. And to add to taste, they just add a lot of salt into the rice itself so that they keep their meals tasty. And that resulted in them being having high blood pressure, right? So it's a very sad condition. Like just now, what Dr. Wong said that what can we do to influence them, right? And I can share with you that because of our involvement in Myanmar in June 2008, we managed to influence some of the local medical profession. And years later, when I met up with them, they come and told me, hey, Brother Matthew, do you remember what you told us during Myanmar that time in 2008? I honestly cannot remember what I told them. But what I saw is that every time they see a patient in such poor conditions, you're trying to give some money, and I stop it. I say that you're not going to help them long term in that way, because by giving money one time, right? You need to help them by ask them to do some cultivation and ask them to, help themselves, right? Little that I know that that one phrase or words that I actually mentioned can have a long-term impact and resulted them continue participating in the local mission. And later that I know that they have started the rice bank itself, right? So don't underestimate the small medical outreach that you have done, the impact that you have, individual that you have for the locals can be very long-term. And because of Myanmar outreach, there's one time I went to the hospital because I have to send a patient to the hospital for further checkup. Then I found out that it was one patient was actually covered in a pink mosquito nest. I remember the scene very vividly because the hospital is very simple. They have about 20, 30 beds, and only this bed is covered with mosquito nets. So when I opened up, then I realized that it was actually you can see the pink mosquito nest at the back. It was actually a boy who has a severe burn from the oil lamp because it turned out that he was actually studying very hard, and because of the lack of electricity, they have so he actually accidentally knocked against the oil lamp, and as a result, he has a burn from his head down to his shoulders, and it was quite bad that time. And immediately that night, we actually have a discussion when we say how can we save this boy. And the journey from this village to the Yangon hospital is about 3-4 hours away. So we have to arrange a burn unit in the Yangon hospital to treat this patient. After contacting the burn unit and confirm that they can treat, then we had to get a consent from the parents of this young boy so that they can agree, and also the consent from the hospital to release the boy for the treatment. So we have to prepare. As you can see, the father was actually wrapping up the boy to prepare him for the journey. And we managed to get an ambulance, a very simple ambulance, which is not easy because the journey to Yangon Hospital was quite tough. In terms of road, it's very bumpy. Those who have been to our outreach in Sarawak recently can tell that how when the road is very bumpy, when you jump up and down, it's actually very painful on our butt itself. But for the burn victim, is extremely more painful because anything that touches his skin, he will be actually in pain. So we are praying all the way that to ensure that it's a very smooth journey, to ensure that he can reach the hospital safely. And there is a company, a nurse who can accompany her. So you can imagine the ambulance is actually very simple. It's not nothing like what you see in the ambulance here in Malaysia or elsewhere, where they have proper equipment, right? And it is really a miracle that the boy survived through the whole journey itself, right? And subsequently, he recovered, although he lost one side of his ear, but he managed to recover. And a few years later, when I saw the video, the Thai TV show a video of him growing up. I'm very glad that I have a chance to participate in helping him during that time. If it's not because of curiosity and with a mind to help people, I wouldn't have discovered this young boy, right? And then in that journey, this is me, right? That is brother Nai. And that time we have an opportunity to know Dr. Ng Po In. So we have the time to know two superintendents from the Taiwan hospital. You see on the far right is Sao Yuanzhang. He is from the Su Ching Taipei hospital. That time he just joined fresh, and then he came to this medical mission itself. And this is another doctor from Darling Hospital, right? And after 2008, I have a chance to go to Vietnam for the medical outreach, right? And I was helping in the distribution team this time, but I also have an opportunity to go around and see how the dental team and has been carried out. It's very simple. So basically just injection and extraction, and the mother was holding the child head, and then they will just do the extraction. And this is a traditional medical doctors, and his technique is quite unique. He used so-called the facial acupuncture, where he can actually use a small device held in his hand to actually poke and keep on knocking on the various part of the head, which is the meridian point itself. And a lot of patients actually went, including after the outreach, actually the volunteer actually queue up to seek the treatment from him, right? And in 2015, we have actually participated in the Pahang flood, right, where it involved the TIMA doctors, right? So the advantage I see that even though a normal GP can provide comfort in the time of distress for a flood victim, right? And doctors get their hands on with a stethoscope on their shoulder and then get their hand on to fix the cut itself so can get ready for the flood relief. And also the doctors can seek treatment anytime at the flood victim house itself, right, to provide the medical assistance, right. In 2016, I have a chance. I actually went to Cambodia 3 times. This is the first time I went. I was involved in the entertainment team, right, to entertain the patients while they are waiting for their turn to see the doctors. So you can imagine we basically sing and dance from morning until evening, taking turns to actually to entertain the villagers as well, right? So it was quite a refreshing experience for me. In 2016, we also went to KK, right, where I was briefing a team of dental doctors on what is the outreach for this KK itself, right? And the doctors actually enjoy the cons that we have. And this is a setup not in the school that we have set up in the KK itself. And this is our medical team, right? I must say that I'm being honored to help to set up the Pudu clinic for the dental team itself. And this is Dr. Tan was one of the earliest dentists who joined us. And you can see that almost 10 years later, she not only lost weight, right, but she become more youthful. You can see the power of Su Ching can influence the dentist. And she was so amazed by her own transformation itself. And I'm very glad that she is one of the earliest dentists who helped us to guide us a lot in setting up the dental room, because I am not from dentist background. In fact, I'm actually an accountant by profession. But because of her, I learned a lot how to set up, and together with other dentists as well, right? So you can see that all our dental volunteers have been with us more than 10 years during that time, right? And the latest outreach is in Lusong, Sarawak. And I would say that this is the longest journey that we have been for Lusong itself, because it takes us 4x4 four-wheel drive, which took us 8 to 10 hours to reach the destination, even though it's only 250 kilometers away. Because of the road journey is quite tough, right? But we are glad to go there because I always ask the question, why do we go there? Knowing that the KKM always go there, and there's a KKM clinic there. And then I learned that for the villagers to come out from Lusong itself, it costs them 1,200 to just get the four-wheel drive to come out to see medical treatment. And dental is one of the treatment that they always fly in, and they fly in dentists, and they always treat the children, but not the adult itself. And we actually have this opportunity to serve the local Malaysian residents. I feel that it is an honor, right? And I would say that I actually, from my Tzu Chi medical footprint, I have been to, because of Tzu Chi, I have been to Linking and Seminyak detention camp, right? Last time we used to have Selayang and Impi outreach for the refugees, but now we have stopped, but we resumed again this year. And then I've been to overseas outreach at Batam Island, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Vietnam, Myanmar, and I'm still very active in Pudu Clinic until today, and I have opportunity to participate in the COVID vaccination center in the Jingsi Hall, Kuala Lumpur during the lockdown that time in 2021, right? And I would like to end my sharing with that this aphorism: the value of life doesn't lie in its length, but rather its depth and width. If a life still shines towards the end, indeed this is a meaningful life. I'd like to thank everyone for the sharing. And back to you, Brother Chin.
Thank you so much, Brother Matthew, for the sharing. I learned today they are multi-talented, from an accountant to medical to entertainment. And I mean, the great work you've done, Brother Matthew, that you shared with us, and certainly inspire, I think, on some of us who are not in the medical profession to get involved in the medical mission. And obviously, in various ways and forms that we can undertake. And obviously, this morning sharing by our three dedicated doctors who can lead us and show us how we can play our role in helping so many people who are so underprivileged. So, right, so that's what we have for today. And thank you for making the time, all of you, for the sharing that you have done this morning to Sister Fong, Brother Teck and Brother Saw Aik, and obviously Brother Matthew as well. So although we missed you, Brother Matthew, last week, we still got you this week. So
Yeah,
excellent.
sorry about last week. I was not feeling well.
No worries at all. We will look forward to your sharing. Okay, so brothers and sisters, that's the end of our session, and thank you so much for staying back, the rest of us on this platform. So with this, we offer our three bows to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Okay, this one's first bow, second bow, third bow. We also offer one bow to our board masters. Bow. You all have a great weekend, and as usual, the weekend is always busy for all of us in the volunteering, and otherwise have a great week ahead and coming to a year end, and may you all have as we end this year, it has been 2024 has been a really challenging year for many of us. Maybe 2025 may be a better year, but challenging year is always a great year for cultivation. All right. I learned so much, and may you all have a blessed day.
And thank you everybody who are present here today. Thank you, Brother Matthew, for being so understanding. Okay, we gotta go now. And Brother Chin for hosting. Bye.
Bye, everybody.